Hello everyone, very good morning. Welcome to StudyIQ English. Welcome to the Hindu newspaper class with me. Let's quickly analyze UPSC relevant articles for today. That's for 15th January 2026. And here is a list of 6 important UPSC articles that I have taken from the Hindu New Delhi edition. Apart from that, if I feel there are some newses here and there which are crucial, I shall keep talking about them. So let me quickly welcome my dear students on the platform before we can start with the first article of the day. And like always, we will initiate our discussion from the editorial page itself. That is page number 7. The first two are editorial articles. Now you might be wondering, where are we traveling today? So, my dear students and me, we are all a group of armchair travelers. Every day we use the map, and for our UPSC understanding, we travel to these places and investigate all the places in the news, right? So, today we will be going to Qatar as well as Greenland. Yes, so both these maps we shall look into in detail, starting from the editorial. And before I do that, here's a quick welcome and lots of love and blessings to Kojumba, Shivansh, Anushka, Hari, Anoop, Santosh, Manish, Adi, Sitaram, Aditi, and who else? Chat, okay, Chatanai, Kaizan, Abhilash, Rishi, Dia. Very good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class. So happy to see you today morning. Let us quickly begin with the article as other students join us. Good morning, Karan. Very good morning, Jalal. Very good morning, Kriti. Good morning, Sumit. So let me initiate our discussion with the first article for the day. So everybody, let's focus on the discussion. And Rishi and Rajnishwar are also joining in. Wonderful. Okay, the first article for the day. Now, this is a very controversial article, okay? So, before I take up this article, here's a quick disclaimer. This is a very controversial article, and I do not wish to get into any political controversy. Neither do I want my students to look into it from a political controversial issue. So, it really doesn't matter which political parties are doing what. It doesn't matter if it is any kind of communal controversy, but our agenda is not to get there. Our agenda is to understand the constitutional and the legal dimensions of these articles, and that is exactly what we shall do here. Page number 7, the first article for the day. If I do a quick topic mapping of this article, then this will be article from GS paper 2 because we are looking at polity and governance. But it is also a very important matter that relates with India's internal security. Yes, it is an internal security issue too. So that's this article. And now let me quickly talk about the article. It says the continued custody in Delhi riots, cases and injustice. There are two accused. And both these accused, Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid, they have been denied bail by the Honorable Supreme Court. They have been held accountable for disturbing India's internal security and for trying to create terror related activities. And therefore, they are found accused under the UAPA, India's key criminal law. Today, as many more accused under this Delhi riots controversy have been given bails, they have been given some exemption. It is these two people who haven't been given any bail, they have been denied any exemption by the court. Many critics are arguing, are we misusing UAPA to keep on holding on convicts in the jail despite the fact that there is no valid proof against how and when were they engaged in terror activities? It's a whole big question on UAPA 1967. Very well said, Kritik. So let's examine what are the points in this article one by one. Okay, and one quick request, let's keep it non-political, let's keep it very educational. Good morning, Diptesh is here after ages. Most welcome. Bulbul, Pushpita, Ramu, my dear Ramu. Okay, Priyamvada Kritik. Wonderful. Then let's start with the article. So please let's focus now properly. Now, it all started on January 5th, 2026. And what happened really? On January 5, 2026, the Honorable Supreme Court of India granted bail to 5 accused in the Delhi riots conspiracy case. These Delhi riots, larger conspiracy case, all happened as people were protesting and criticizing the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. People were worried and paranoid, insecure about the upcoming National Register of Citizens, and therefore it created a big controversy with regards to minority rights. People were protesting against the government, of accusing the government of targeting minorities deliberately. And therefore, in 2020, some kind of riots happened in Delhi. Yes. Now, in January 2026, almost about 6 years later, the Supreme Court decided to give bail to 5 people who were accused in these riots, but the bail was denied to 2 people. One, Umar Khalid, and the other, Sharjeel Imam. These were also accused under the Delhi riot conspiracy, but they were not given bail. Many others, although, were given bail. All the people who were arrested for being involved in this conspiracy, in this riot, in these protests against the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 were accused of severe involvement. Severe involvement in the 2020 Delhi riot case. All these 7 people, but by the time the case reached the court, these accused had already spent about 5 years in the jail before the Supreme Court could even investigate. 5 years is the time these people have already spent in the jail. Even though in India, we have 2 articles that criticize that. There is Article 21, Right to Life and Liberty, which says every individual, every citizen of India has a right to personal liberty and a right to get speedy justice, speedy trial. And despite that, these people have been languishing, spending time in jail for over 5 years. Then there is another article. There is Article 22 of the Indian Constitution, which gives people protection against arbitrary arrest and detention. The government cannot, at its own will and desire, arrest people and detain people unless they are found guilty for a crime. We can't do that. Much before than this case came into highlight, the Supreme Court has said in its previous jurisdictions that government is no authority to conduct a trial on its own. If a person is not accused guilty, the government cannot choose to punish those people. It is absolutely a denial of fundamental rights 21 and 22. Supreme Court also says that if the state cannot conduct a trial within a reasonable amount of time, the state has no right to deny bail either. That means a long detention before the trial has happened should justify granting of bail. Then we should give bail because we have already punished these people, whether they are guilty or not. But today, the Supreme Court has denied bail to these 2 people exclusively, Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam. Why is this being criticized by the people in India? Why? Because the Supreme Court denied bail to Khalid and Imam, saying that they conceptualized the Terror Act. They were the masterminds behind the Delhi riot controversy, and therefore their involvement in the riot case cannot be denied. Supreme Court says in India, anti-terror laws are not meant only to punish those who pull the trigger on the gun or those who practically drop a bomb. Those who are planning, masterminding, and strategizing terror activities are equally accused of terror-related crimes. Supreme Court says these 2 people are the ones who masterminded the entire controversy. And therefore, this is the reason why right to liberty should not be applicable in this case. That's what the court says. But the critics are angry. Critics are criticizing this. They are saying you cannot deny any individual the right to liberty. The allegations against both these people have not been proved. They are yet not guilty of the crime. They are only accused of the crime prima facie. Prima facie, on the face, whatever is visible on the surface. They are accused of this crime. They have not been found guilty of this crime. And then what right do we have, therefore, to deny them the right to liberty? Article 21. What right do we have? To deny them Article 22, the right against arbitrary arrest and detention. So, therefore, the court, while denying them bail, is also blaming the government. And they are blaming the accused also. But they are not ready to understand that ultimately it's the duty of the Supreme Court. The court is not analyzing that the trial has already taken so long, and despite hundreds of witnesses, the trial took up to 5 to 6 years. And these people are still in jail. They are facing imprisonment without the trial having been done. Is that fair? Now, that points out to a bigger problem with India's law against terror, such as UAPA 1967. It points out to a major problem here. Why? Because this case against both these people is under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act passed by India in 1967. As my students are already telling, Santosh, Kritik, Ramu, Hari, Vikash. Yes, very good. What is it now? The problem with UAPA? Now, UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967, has a separate section, please focus, named as Section 15. I repeat, Section 15. What is this Section 15? Why are we talking about it? Section 15 talks about terrorism under UAPA, but it gives a very abstract, it gives a very vague definition of terrorism by using words like by any other means. Anyone who's involved in a crime or a terror by any other means. That means they have not actively done any terror activity. They are the planners. They have done something that is relating to a terror activity. And these words of the Section 15 of UAPA, by any other means, are very confusing. They are very confusing. The court gave this broad interpretation to include even protest like chakka jam. Now, chakka jam could be a very Hindi word. And for those of my students who are unfamiliar, it means creating an all India block, protest, a kind of jam. Yes, going on a strike. So, ideally, under this activity, you will include things like chakka jam, all India protest and strike too. Yes? So that doesn't make any sense at all. And that's why Section 15 of UAPA is very, very broad. It is a problem because it is giving too much power to the government to label legitimate protest also as an act of terror. And vague criminal laws will always increase the risk of being misused by the government against opposite parties, against minorities, against targeted individuals. Yes? Now, how will it impact the bail? Now comes the point that Ramu, Vikash, and Kritik were raising so far, and Kochuppa, and Sitara. What point have they been raising? Now comes the section 43D of UAPA. What am I talking about? Now I'm talking about section 43D of UAPA 1967. I just spoke about section 15 that defines the word terror. It is a very, very vague definition. It's a very vague definition. Now I am looking at section 43D. What is the problem here? 43D part 5 specially. Why is it a problem in UAPA? It is a problem because the bail is denied if the prima facie case exists. What do you mean by prima facie? On the face, from outside. Even from outside, if it looks like the people have done something related to terror, they can be denied bail just on the basis of prima facie evidence. No investigation, no proper trial. They can still be refused a bail under 43D5 of UAPA. What does it say? Listen carefully. It says the bail will not be granted if the court finds out that the accusation appear to be prima facie true. At this stage, The court looks only at the material that is submitted while the prosecution is being done, not at the defense material. The court is only looking at the evidence that has been deposited against the accused. The court is not looking at any evidence that has been deposited from the side of the defense party, from the side of the accused themselves. We are only looking at evidence against them, not the evidence that proves them innocent. It reverses the normal criminal rule in India. What is the normal rule? The normal rule is bail, not jail. The normal rule in India is bail, not jail. But Section 43D 5 denies this normal provision. Why? Because it gives too much importance to evidence prima facie, on the face of it, just by a look. There is no proper investigation. There is no looking at evidence that favors the accused. Okay? And that is why it is called, as Vikash says, a draconian law. That is why we are calling it a disastrous law. Because now we are not thinking of justice at all. Very good, Ram. We are absolutely acting against the accused by denying the basic principle bail but not the jail. And this is going against the principle that harsher laws must be interpreted narrowly to protect liberty. Here we are giving a very broad interpretation to a draconian law. Section 15, Section 43D5. Both these mean we are punishing people without waiting for them to prove themselves innocent. Very good. Ideally, the principle is innocent until proven guilty. But here we are denying all that. Now, why is it causing a concern when it comes to our society? The concern is that the evidence on record, it mainly shows that protests were organized. If you look at all the evidences in the Delhi riot case, they are showing there was a protest that was done. Yes, the protest was anti-government. Agreed. But there is no proof to show that these were terror activities. The prosecution is blindly depending on the idea that these are conspiracy. But there is no direct evidence to prove that these are anti-governmental or anti-sovereignty based conspiracies. Historically, if you look at conspiracy allegations, then they have often been justified to keep people in the jail without allowing them any kind of bail. So how can we conclude this article? We can conclude this article by saying that on the one hand, you have Indian Constitution, which gives people few fundamental rights. We are very clear in India that fundamental rights can be fought for under Article 32 in the Supreme Court and under Article 226 in the High Court. The courts can issue writs to protect the fundamental rights of people, and they are equally applicable to every Indian citizen. Whether they be rights like right to equality, whether they be rights like right to freedom, Article 19, right to free speech and expression, Article 19(1)(a), whether it's Article 21, right to life, dignity, liberty, whether it's 22, the right to protect yourself against arbitrary detention and arrest. Today, in the case of these two accused here, it looks like there is a controversy with all these fundamental rights because all these are getting denied as we are looking into another provision, and this is the UAPA 1967. There are two specific clauses here, 15, that gives a very vague definition of the word terror. And both these accused have been identified as terrorists without having been proven as terrorists. And second, Section 43D5 of UAPA, which says just on the basis of external evidence, prima facie evidence, you can keep the people in jail, deny them bail. Go against the rule of bail, not jail. Go against the rule of innocent until proven guilty. Today we are not doing that. We are just saying that UAPA means not just the actors of terror, but the conspiracy people, the masterminds of terror are also terrorists and therefore no bail for them. But the article is asking, have you proved them guilty? Is there any deeper investigation or evidence that proves them as terrorists? No. In that case, by denying these two people bail exclusively, you are absolutely going against all these constitutional provisions. That's exactly what the article says. That is right, Eric. Absolutely right. But today, you see, there are very debatable questions in India. When we were looking at the Ladakh protest, when Ladakh was demanding a statehood or identity under Schedule 6, similarly, Mr. Sonam Wangchuk was also arrested under NSA, National Security Act. There also, both the fundamental articles became controversial. Article 22, right against arbitrary arrest. Article 20 also. Article 20 was also invoked, and Article 21 too. So, all these are very, very conflicting and controversial ideas when it comes to preventive detention. It becomes arbitrary because there is no proof. But the government and the courts believe that prima facie evidences are enough. Okay? No, absolutely, Priyamvada. That's a pure act of terrorism. That's a pure act of terrorism. In that case, there is no scope for any kind of adjustment or mercy. But here the situation is different. The accused are accused of a riot. Okay, a riot. The accused have not been proven guilty. So that's why it is becoming controversial. In the case of Taj Hotel, it was an out and out act of terrorism. In fact, that is the case which in India gave us the concept of NSA, National Security Agency. Very good. Okay. Now, quickly, I missed some of the comments. I'll come back to that later. Okay. Quickly, the question, everyone. With reference to Supreme Court's approach in the Delhi riot, larger conspiracy case and the application of UAPA, consider these statements, please. One, the right to speedy trial, quick trial, is an integral part of right to life and personal liberty guaranteed under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Second, under the UAPA, bail can be denied if the court is satisfied that a prima facie case exists against the accused based mainly on the prosecution's material. And three, a broad and vague interpretation of offences under laws like UAPA, for example, Section 15 that defines the word terrorism, reduces the discretion of state and makes the granting of bail more likely. So, which of these are valid? Some confusion here and there. But let's break it down because Sumed, Santosh, Karan, Iba, Kujumba, Priyamvada, Vikash, and IT and Kaushik and Priyamvada, Sitaram, Terukula, everyone is saying answer is A. So is that A? Some slight confusion. Some students are saying D. Let's break it down. Ramu also says it's A. Anoop says it's A. Well, the first is absolutely right because we are looking at the right to a speedy trial. Yes, everybody in India has a right to seek justice. In fact, as Ramu has defined very beautifully, there are clear-cut writs in the Constitution under Article 32 that Supreme Court can issue habeas corpus, quo warranto, certiorari, mandamus, all those. First is valid. Second, under the UAPA 1967, the bail can be denied. Yes, it can be denied. Absolutely, it will be denied. And that is the section 43D5 of UAPA. The bail can be denied on the basis of the proofs that are submitted against the accused. Supreme Court will punish on the basis of prima facie material before any proper investigation is done because these are terror activities under UAPA. It's a very strict law. So it's right. And what about the third one? The third one says UAPA has a very broad interpretation and it's easy to give bail under this. No, in fact, it's the opposite. It's very difficult to give bail under this. It is a very, very vague interpretation under Article 50, Section 15 of UAPA. It defines the word terror in a very broad manner. Anybody who is conspiring or masterminding or joining or supporting a terror activity is also a terror. The definition is so broad that the government can often use it to detain people without any proof against them because it is giving them too much freedom, the government, to arrest anybody they want. It's a draconian law. And that is why bail will not be given easily. So it's wrong. Yes, very good, Frithik. Absolutely. This third statement relates very well to the present case that we are dealing regarding Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid. So that's correct. You cannot get bail easily. We can't get. Very good, Terukula. So therefore, 1 and 2 are valid, making A the right answer. Anybody with any confusions, I can clarify later. Okay. But as of now, A is the right answer. So well done, everyone. Minaki, Dia, very good. Very good. And I'm so happy that new students are also participating. That's very, very good. Okay, next. Yes, Karan. What's your question, my dear? What was the question, Karan? Could you just repeat, Bacha? I think I missed your statement there. So let me know what's your problem and I'll come back to that. Draconian Priyambada means a law that is like a dragon, a law that's monstrous, a law that is very, very strict. It is too stringent, too strict. That is what it means. No, 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 no. Let me go back. Lots of confusion, it seems. The broad and vague interpretation of offences under UAPA reduces the discretion of the state and makes grant of the bail more likely. Now, even if the state or the government wants to give you bail, for example, the court feels that okay, despite prima facie evidence being there, let us give bail because the accused has not been proven guilty so far. But the problem is under UAPA, the definition is so broad of terrorism, very broad, that sometimes even if the government wants to give the bail, it is very easy for the courts to deny, saying that no, under this broad definition of section 15, the person was responsible for a terror attack, even if he has not thrown a bomb, even if he has not thrown or pulled the trigger of a gun, or he has not murdered somebody, but he was responsible for the crime. He was masterminding the crime, he was supporting the crime. In some way, he has been involved. So, therefore, we will not give bail. So, bail will not happen easily. Even if the government wants, they can't give because courts will deny. I hope now it's clear to everyone. Okay, very valid question raised by Ram. Yes. Okay. Now quickly let's come to the second article. This is also page number 7. This is editorial article. It's an easy article. Let's look into that. You need answer writing practice, Karan. So that's what I said, Bacha. Now, aspirant and Terukula, everybody was talking about essay writing. I see some of my students are really having a slightly tough time when it comes to essay writing, when it comes to writing answers. I will be there for that. Don't worry. Just that I need time till prelims, because before prelims, what happens? All the effort, all the activity is focused on GS1 and CSAT. So, unfortunately, it is very difficult to organize segments on that, but then we will have. Let the prelims pass by. Okay, let March, April come and we will have dedicated classes on answer writing, essay writing. We will absolutely have that because without answer and essay writing, you can't really prepare for the mains. We will have that. Okay, Kara? So nothing to worry. Yes, we will have that. Nothing to worry. That's so sweet. Thank you for helping each other out. That's wonderful. Yes, very good, Eric. Even the very good statement made by Eric. Wonderful, Eric. Great observation. The AFSPA, Armed Forces Special Power Act, the disturbance areas which are under Disturbance Act, the Disturbed Areas Act, all these are also considered draconian laws. Very good. Very good. Brilliant. Now, coming back to the second article, let's focus quickly. This article is coming from GS paper 3 because we are looking at economy. We are looking at economy. We are looking at critical minerals. We are looking at REE, rare earth materials. Many times I have mentioned in my previous classes with you that there is a big difference between rare earth material and critical minerals. Critical minerals is a broad category. It also includes minerals like lithium, cobalt, graphite. But REE are a dedicated set of only 17 elements on the periodic table, including 15 lanthanides plus 2 more elements. That's why REE are a more narrow part of the greater critical minerals. But there is a big problem. Day before yesterday, Pax Silica was in the news. Today, all the developed countries of the world, very good Terukula, very good Satya Bache, all the countries of the world, especially the G7 countries, the rich and the top industrialized countries of the world are insecure. They are very, very tired of their dependence on China. Because if you look at critical minerals and if you look at rare earth material, both these are very important. They are used to create semiconductors. They are used for AI chip fabrication. They are used to make electronic vehicle batteries. They are used to make wind turbine, wind energy magnet, sintered magnets. They are used to make solar cells, photovoltaic batteries. Without critical minerals and rare earth materials, a country cannot transition into green renewable energy at all. But the problem is, although many countries have these elements, many countries have Rare earth material and critical minerals. I told you, don't get confused because of the word. The word says rare earth mineral. It doesn't mean they are rare. They are not so rare also. There are many countries which have reserves. They are not so rare. They are called rare because they are dedicated only 17 elements, as Vikash has explained beautifully. 17 elements, 17 lanthanides, plus scandium and yttrium. Yes, only 17. That's why they are called as rare earth. And very good, Abhilash. Yes, they are used to make defense technology equipment. Right? Now, coming back to that, China dominates the global supply chain. Why does China dominate? Here, three words come into the picture. One is known as upstream, one is known as middle stream, and the third is known as downstream. How will you get these rare earth materials if they are so important? And why does China dominate? China dominates because right since 1970s, China has a very trained manpower. Today, India is the largest highly populated country in the world with 1.4 billion people. Before this, China used to be the most populated. Because of that, China was able to train its workforce and invest more in refining, cleaning, extracting, mining, and processing of these rare earth material. This is something other countries have not been able to do. There are three parts to rare earth material. If you need them so badly, that's the reason why today packed silica is being done. This is the reason why today America, European Union, Germany, and all these countries are worried that we cannot depend on an unreliable nation like China. China dominates 70% and 84% of all the middle stream, downstream capabilities. What do you mean by that? When it comes to extracting the raw material of critical minerals and rare earth from the ground, it is known as upstream. It is easy to do. It's very easy to extract it from the ground. That anybody can do. Upstream. China dominates. Second, middle stream. Now comes the time they are very impure. When they come from the ground, they are very impure. You need to thoroughly clean them. Once they are pure and clean, only then they can be used to manufacture car battery, solar battery, defense, and whatever. The process of cleaning needs a lot of training and machinery. It needs manpower and it has a dangerous environmental impact also. So you have to clean them now. You have to process them now. You have to refine them now. This is called middle stream. And what is the downstream? Downstream means now you are finally processing them and finally you are using them to make batteries or electronic vehicles or semiconductors. These are three different categories, okay? It's a long process from extraction upstream to utilization downstream. The problem is very good, Vikash. China dominates 90% about processing middle stream and refining downstream 74% more than that, in fact. Yes. So now there is a very big difference, Kaizen. Rare earth material are a unique 17 set of elements on periodic table, as Vikash has just explained. Lanthanide, scandium, and yttrium. Only 17 exclusively. But they are a part of bigger category of critical minerals which include other critical minerals also, like cobalt, the blue color element, like graphite, like lithium, all of these then. Okay, very good. Now, having said that, Having said that, today China dominates. All the G7 countries are now trying to nickel, very good Terukula. Now we are trying to get away from China and become self-sufficient here. That's the agenda of this article. But there are two things here. Why does India need a dedicated minerals policy? Second, what can we do to get away from our blind dependence on China? Let's look at this article in detail, therefore, in another 6 to 7 minutes. Okay. Coming back, what does the article say? Article says India's clean energy transition. If we are committed to becoming zero carbon by 2070, and if we are committed to achieve our nationally determined contribution under Paris Agreement by reducing carbon emission to 45% of our GDP, We must understand that we need to move towards green, clean energy like solar, hydro, wind, and nuclear. For that, today, unfortunately, we are heavily dependent on imports. We are dependent on imported critical minerals and imported rare earth elements. This creates a question of supply security every time there is a war in the world. Every time China decides to control the export of critical minerals, India will experience a problem because we are blindly dependent on them. Very good, Santosh. Absolutely, Satya and Karan and Vikash. Absolutely. Every time China refuses to supply, India, US, EU, all these countries will have a big problem, a major problem. So, therefore, today, India is following a two-way path. India is following a two-sided strategy. One, build Atmanirbharta, develop long-term domestic capacity, upstream, midstream, downstream, all of that. And second, create short-term but secure partnerships with other countries who can supply you a much better amount of rare earth material and critical minerals, but more reliable partners. China is not a reliable partner. I'm sorry. Yesterday, I made a video. I don't know if you got to see that video. I made a video on Shaksgam. I made a video on a valley that is located near Siachen Glacier in Jammu Kashmir, Shaksgam. China is once again trying to claim the Shaksgam area. India says no, it belongs to me. China says in 1963, Pakistan gave it to me. India says, who is Pakistan to give it to you? It's my area and Pakistan cannot give it to you. Pakistan has illegally occupied that region and it cannot be given to China, therefore. Yes, this is the kind of country that China is. Every time we start trusting China, whether it be the 1962 war Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai narrative, or whether it be today, China trying to engage itself deliberately near Siachen Glacier by making claims on Shaksgam, by making claims on Aksai Chin. China proves the point that, sorry, it cannot be depended upon. It's not a reliable partner. So, second part of India's strategy is to now diversify its import and partnerships from more trusted nations. How are global partnerships helping India here? Now, recently in 25, India signed a partnership with Australia. Under this partnership, Australia has some rich reserves of rare earth and critical minerals more than India. But India has the young manpower. So they both have decided to cooperate where Australia will provide India cobalt and lithium products under Australia India Critical Mineral Investment Partnership 22. It will be now expanded. And India will help Australia in sending trained manpower in midstream and downstream capacity. Plus, India is signing a partnership with Japan also. Japan, because Japan also has certain unique rare earth materials, but Japan is facing a crisis today. China, being a key enemy of Japan, has denied all supply of critical minerals to companies that are coming from Japan. Japan is experiencing a severe shortage. Plus, China, Japan are already fighting about Senkaku, Yonaguni, and Taiwan issue. So, therefore, they are having a problem between themselves. Now, India can become a reliable partner here to help Japan in diversifying its midstream and downstream capacity, recycling capacity, R&D. Then comes Africa. Now, Africa is a resource-rich country. We all have spoken about the rich rare earth material deposit in Democratic Republic of Congo. When did I speak to you about DRC? When I have discussed with all of you the fight between Tutsu, the fight between two groups. Yes, which were those two groups? The Tutsi rebel groups. Yes, I have spoken to you about DRC controversy. Now, DRC has rich reserves of cobalt, lithium. That's a very, very fertile area. Plus, there are other countries of Africa, Namibia, Zambia. All these have great reserves here. Very, very good Terukula. Great reserves here. Because they have these great reserves, it shows tremendous opportunity to India. India and Africa have had historical relationship. Today, India can provide technology and manpower, and then together the countries can deal with extraction and they can deal with midstream and downstream processes. It's a great area for India. Yes. Third, America itself. America has rare earth minerals, but America again doesn't have midstream and downstream capacity. There is a shortage of labor. America is not a young country like China, India. So therefore, what happened today? Although India is facing uncertainty because of bilateral tariff problem with America, because of another threat of 25% tariff on trade with Iran, because of H-1B visa. All those are controversial, but still we know India, America are great friends when it comes to defense. Yes, when it comes to space technology. So therefore, even in this area, both can cooperate by creating initiatives like there is already an initiative between India and America. It is known as Trust Initiative. I have written on the PDF here. Trust Initiative. Under this, both the countries are now trying to better invest in processing and refining of rare earth material. Okay. Then comes European Union. Again, very important. It provides a great opportunity for India through its Critical Raw Minerals Act. Both the nations can work together in battery storage, but there is a small problem here also. EU has very tough environmental standards, very tough ecological standards. We have seen that in the case of cross-border adjustment mechanism, CABM, when it comes to carbon dioxide emission. Yes, I have seen you. I have spoken to you about that. Many times we have discussed. That is the problem with EU. EU has some great opportunity for India. Both can work together. But EU has strict protocols. India has to align its policy with EU's environmental policy. So together they can now try for recycling, energy storage, and more processing and refining. Very good, Vikash. Then comes West Asia. UAE, Saudi Arabia. India has good relations with all these nations. Now, these nations also have some great strategic mineral reserves and they have a great potential of midstream processing. India can invest in these countries, but today there is a problem, the problem of uncertainty and lack of stability. Today, protest is going on in Iran. America might attack soon. Israel is already ready for the war. Unfortunately, Qatar also is in the news. I will speak about Qatar right now. Qatar's military base is also threatened right now. Then comes the war in Yemen. That's a proxy war between UAE and Saudi itself. So West Asia is not a stable country, not a stable region right now. So therefore, all the ideas regarding energy partnership, critical minerals partnership have taken a backseat. But it could be a great processing hub. India can invest in refining, battery manufacturing, and green hydrogen. And ultimately, it's Russia. Russia again is a great partner in this case. Only problem is because of heavy American sanctions. India and Russia are now experiencing a delay in various programs that are existing between them only because of American sanctions. But Russia is also a backup option. Russia has some great reserves and it can help India in mining, refining, processing. What is India doing on the domestic front really? Now, on the domestic front, as some of the students here were mentioning, India has made Kabul. What is Kabul? I'm writing here. India has made Kabul in 2019. What is Kabul? Kabul stands for Khanij Bidesh India Limited. It is India's own critical minerals organization that is now busy in doing foreign collaborations. Recently, it signed a rupees 200 crore agreement with Argentina. Argentina in South America, again rich in critical minerals. Yes. Now, Kabul is a government-owned joint venture. It was established so that India can make strategic and critical mineral exploration pacts with countries outside India to ensure that India has enough supply of these materials in order to fulfill its green energy requirements. Plus, Kabul is dealing with other countries like Argentina, of course, then Chile. Chile has great reserves. Peru, Brazil. All these are rich in critical minerals and India is doing that. Plus with Canada also. Recently, India, Canada, Australia are becoming a trio, creating a joint framework of further trying to extract, refine, and process more critical minerals. Very, very good, Vikash. The lithium triangle. Very good. That is Latin America. Now, if you look at what is the solution, in 3 words, I will explain the solution. So listen carefully. One, when it comes to extracting critical minerals, India has capacity. But extracting is not enough. When you extract, you get the raw ore. You get the crude ore, the raw ore, and that is alone insufficient. That is known as upstream. That anybody can do. The real bottleneck is midstream and downstream. What is the difference between these? Midstream means processing, refining the raw materials, cleaning them to make them usable, like crushing, heating, chemical processing, separation, and smelting. Then what is downstream? Downstream means manufacturing, processing, recycling, and using these products in the final manufacture of electronic vehicles, batteries, and defense, such as battery manufacturing, electronic vehicle manufacturing, laptop, smartphone manufacturing, then renewable energy equipment manufacturing. This and recycling is the downstream. India does not only need upstream, India needs midstream and downstream. So India has to now diversify its necessities. So listen carefully to what I say in the next few seconds. One, when it comes to upstream, extraction of the raw ore, India can partner with Africa, Australia, Latin America. Why? Because these are rich in reserves. Now, it's a very common sensical thing. Countries that have rich critical reserves, India can partnership with them, do a partnership with them for upstream, extracting the raw ore. When it comes to midstream, cleaning, separating, and purifying, India can have partnership with Japan and West Asia. When it comes to downstream, final recycling, battery manufacturing, India can now use advanced economies which are rich not in raw material, in technology, like EU America. And when it comes to diversification, as a backup option, we have Russia. So strengthening domestic mining capacity is also equally important, very important. To create a more technological capacity is important. But now, if we, like other countries of Pax Silica, want to become independent in mining, refining, processing, midstream, downstream, it's time to diversify partnership. It's time to focus on our self capacity as well. Okay. So just remember from this article three things. Which countries should India partner in the case of upstream? Africa, Latin America, Australia, Canada. Midstream, Japan, West Asia. Downstream, EU, America. Backup option, Russia. Just remember that. Now, quickly, the question from this article, please. With reference to India's strategy for securing critical minerals for its clean energy transition, consider these statements, please. One, India's clean energy goals need access to imported critical minerals, making global partnerships important, essential for supply security. Remember Pax Silica. Second, merely or only securing raw mineral ore, that's called upstream, is not sufficient. We need building, processing, refining midstream capacities. It's important to reduce supply chain vulnerability. Vulnerability, weakness, backwardness, dependence. Third, India is following a region wise value chain approach by sourcing upstream minerals from Africa, Australia, Latin America, while engaging partners in Japan, West Asia, EU, US for processing downstream technologies. Okay, I will do that. Which of these are valid? Very well answered. Priyanshu, Pushpita, Terukula Vikash, Karan. Anybody else? Sumed, Janvi, Hari. Well answered. Absolutely, it's D. All statements are here, and Priyambada has made a valid point. Let me quickly write down here. Let's not forget, downstream is about raw ore extraction. Okay, it's about raw ore extraction. So any country can do that, but countries with rich reserves can do that. Very good, Urupam. Diya, Janvi, Akhtar, Kritik, well answered. Then there is Canada. There is Australia. There is Latin America. Remember the triangle that Vikash was talking about. Argentina, Chile, Peru, Brazil. Okay, this is downstream. Now you talk about midstream. What is midstream? Cleaning, heating, processing. Whom should India depend on here? Countries like Japan, West Asia. And then last is downstream. Downstream is when you finally process these minerals after cleaning them to use properly in electronic vehicle, battery, or semiconductor. Here, highly advanced technical countries like EU and America. I'm so sorry. Yes, extracting is upstream. Absolutely, Abhilash. That's correct. Extracting is only upstream. That's correct. Raw mat. Sorry. I'm writing downstream here. Very sorry. Thank you so much there. Who clarified? Abhilash. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for clarifying. Upstream. This is upstream. Extraction, midstream cleaning, heating, separating the raw ore. That is Japan, West Asia. Last, final processing and using into the final product downstream. That is highly technological. So EU and US. Thank you for clarifying so much. Okay. Now I've written down here. Very well observed. Great job there. Now the third article before we can travel finally to Qatar. I want to take you to Qatar and Greenland today. That's the most exciting part of the lecture. Let's quickly finish this article. Thank you. Third article. Textual page, text page. Yesterday we did this, but today also I could not ignore because it's a full page article. Yeah, without visa, armchair traveling. Quickly focus. What is Malayalam language bill controversy 2025? So therefore GS paper 2, GS paper 1, Indian society, regionalism. Yes, negative nationalism, linguistic minorities in the constitution, GS paper 2, polity and governance. Articles 25 to Articles 30, minorities in India. That's the topic of this article for GS. Now let's quickly analyze the article. What is going on? On October 6, 2025, the Kerala government introduced a bill named as Malayalam Language Bill, which was passed by the State Assembly, and now it is waiting to get approval from the governor. Quickly before I start, which article of the Constitution deals with governor giving approvals to the bill? And which article deals with governor reserving the bill for presidential accent? Quickly everyone. Yes, Ramu, Kritik, Janvi, Priyanshu, Vikash, Sitaram, Sagar, Terukula. Which article? Which article deals with governors? Very good. Governor giving approval. And which deals with governor reserving the bill for presidential consideration? Article 2. Article 2. Very good. Absolutely. Never forget that. Some student is saying Schedule 8. Yes, it deals with languages. Brilliant. Very well done. Absolutely. Santosh, Sitaram, Priyanshu. Well done. Very good. Rajnishwar. Very good. Proud of you. Now coming back. Kerala government passed the bill. Today it is waiting for governor's approval under Article 200. It was in controversy because everybody is saying there should be an upper time limit now. Governors and presidents are taking too long and governor is acting like an agent of the center. That's what many states are complaining. But Supreme Court said, no, I am not a monitor. I am not going to give an upper limit because Constitution doesn't give an upper limit. But having said that, even governor and president should act with responsibility and they should not unnecessarily delay giving their assent or approval or taking an action on the bill. Yes? Now coming back. What is the controversy? Kerala government passed a bill. Thank you, Ramu. That's very detailed and wonderful. Kerala government said, I'm passing the Malayalam language bill. What are the key provisions of the bill? Why are people so angry? People are angry because the bill has created a lot of anger among Karnataka government, who are saying that there are many people from Karnataka, linguistic minority, the Kannada speaking minority, who's living in an area of Kerala that is northern Kerala. I have marked it on the map here. It is Kasargod area. Beautiful place lying on the Arabian Sea. Kasargod area. Karnataka government says in Kasargod there is a lot of Kannada speaking minority and they will suffer if you pass a bill like that. Why? What are the provisions of the bill? I have written them here. 1. The bill declares Malayali language as the official language of Kerala. Currently we are using English and Malayalam both as official language, but after the bill it will become Malayalam. Second, the bill is making it mandatory, compulsory for Malayalam language to be used in government administration. Very good. Education, judiciary, public communication, commerce, digital platforms, all of these will now use the language Malayalam. This makes Malayalam compulsory first language for students in all the government schools, government aided private schools until class 10th. And also, it provides for a slow phase by phase transition. Phase by phase transition of what? Phase by phase transition of all the court judgments and proceedings into Malayalam language. That is what it is saying. Now, this needs all the bills and ordinances also to be introduced in Malayalam. It will now resume the official language department as Malayalam Language Development Department. It has now been reinvigorated. It also assigns IT department to develop an open source digital tool for teaching and making people more proficient in the use of Malayalam language. Now, the bigger question is, why was the bill introduced? That's great to know, Hari. Why was the bill introduced? Why? The bill was introduced because long back in 2015, remember Paris Agreement was signed in 2015. Long back in 2015, a same kind of bill was passed. It was passed by the Assembly. It was then sent to presidential approval, Article 201. But presidential approval was withheld. Why? Because it was conflicting with the Official Languages Act in India 1963. Bacha, why was 1963 in the news today? Because I told you, in 1963, Pakistan had given an area named as Shaksgam Valley to China. From there, you remember 1963. In 1963, India had passed Official Languages Act. Why did India pass that act? India passed the Official Languages Act because Indian government wanted to regulate the use of Hindi and English both for official purposes of the central government. Some people were not happy. They said we should not use Hindi because people in the southern Indian region do not understand the language, and therefore, to make administration easy, the government said we will allow the use of English as well. And slowly, we will try to make a shift towards Hindi when it comes to the functioning of the union government. It was designed to implement constitutional provisions on language while also addressing the concerns of people who were worried that Hindi will replace English in administration. Yes? So today, why did the president in 2015 not give approval to the Malayalam language bill from Kerala? Because it was contradicting with the principles of Official Languages Act 1963. That's why it did not give. Okay. Now today what is happening? Again the bill has been passed in 2025 and now it is waiting governor's approval. Once again, the bill as it is passed now in 2025 is now trying to remove all these defects of the previous bill, and today it is waiting for governor's approval. The bigger question is, why is Karnataka opposing? Karnataka argues that the bill is unconstitutional. Very good, Hari. Brilliant. Very good. Karnataka argues that the bill is unconstitutional. It threatens the right of Kannada-speaking students in Kasaragod in Kerala. You saw the map right now. Currently, Kannada medium schools allow students to study Kannada as the first language. Karnataka fears it will be cancelled and it will be replaced by Malayalam. A memorandum was submitted to the Kerala governor seeking a rejection or amendment of the bill. But the Kerala government is now very stiff on this. It says bill protects the linguistic minorities also. Who said that the bill is not protesting linguistic minorities? It is protesting the minority speakers of Kannada, Tamil, Tulu and Konkani language. Special provisions will allow minorities to use their mother tongue for official correspondence in relevant areas. Chief Minister of Kerala, Mr. Pina Rai Vijayan, has clearly said that there is a clause 7. Under the clause 7, we are safeguarding minority rights. And this policy aligns with 2 articles of the Constitution. Which are these articles? Very important. Hari already spoke about them. These are Articles 346 and Articles 347. Yes? The Chief Minister of Kerala is saying both these are aligning. All this Malayalam language bill is quite acceptable under 2 constitutional articles, 346 and 347. And the Official Languages Act 1963. What is Karnataka's response? Karnataka Chief Minister Mr. Siddiramaiah has warned that if You will not listen to us. We will use all constitutional options to oppose you. We want you to give a separate, proper exemption to Kannada speaking areas of Kasargod. But the bigger picture, what do you mean by these two articles here? Let's understand. When you look at Article 346, it is an article that is an article which deals with language that is used for interstate communication and for the communication between central government and other states. That is Article 346. It deals with the official language that is used for official communication, interaction between one state and another state, example Kerala, Karnataka, and one state and the union government. So, therefore, under Article 346, it is English that is the default language right now. It is English that is the default language for official communication. Unless the states that are involved, they agree to use another language, for example, Hindi. Unless they agree. Otherwise, it's English only. Yes? Why is it there? It ensures uniformity in clarity in official communication. But then, what is article? If this is Article 346, then what is Article 347 and why is it different from the previous one? Why is it different? In simple words, Article 346 talks about which language to use in state to state and center to state communication. Then, what is 347? Focus, please. Article 347 deals with a special provision that is made for linguistic minorities. I have told you multiple times, in India, for the purpose of our constitution and governance, we only recognize two kinds of minorities. One is linguistic and one is religion. That's all. And when you talk about these minorities, explicitly you have articles from 25 PPP. What is Article 25 PPP? Right to practice, preach, and profess and propagate your religion. To Article 30. All these deal with minorities in India. So, therefore, what is Article 347? Article 347 empowers. It empowers the President of India to recognize a language that is spoken by a substantial population of a state or a part of the state. Such recognition allows that language, such recognition allows that specific language spoken by minorities to be used for official purposes in that area. This provision is meant to protect our linguistic minorities within the states. In simple words, if I was to summarize, Article 347 allows the Indian President to protect minority languages by allowing their official use in specific regions within the state. And therefore, these two articles are now under question. These two articles are now under debate under the Malayalam language controversy. I hope it's clear to everyone here. Very good, Vikash, Pushpita, Ram. Is that clear? Yes. Is that clear to everyone? That is the whole controversy all about. Okay? And what can we summarize from this article? The issue is a tension between minority population within a state versus promoting and propagating the language that's spoken by a majority within a state. Yes? Therefore, the controversy extends to Official Languages Act 1963. The controversy touches upon articles which we just discussed, 347, and article, which one? 346. Okay, so never forget these. Very important. Yes, very good, Terukula. That's Article 30. Quickly, the question. With reference to Malayalam language bill introduced by the Kerala government, please consider these statements here. 1. The bill seeks to declare Malayalam as the only, sole means only, official language of Kerala and makes it compulsory, mandatory, and mandates its use in government, education, judiciary, and public communication subject to constitutional provisions. Second, the bill makes Malayalam the compulsory first language in all government and aided schools in Kerala up to class 10th. We have discussed all the provisions of the bill. And third, the bill abolishes all special protections for linguistic minorities and prohibits The use of minority language for official correspondence. Now, are we sure that D is the right answer? Are we sure that D is the right answer? Yes? Are we sure, everyone? Sumed, Priyamvada, Santosh, Janvi Rishi, Kritik Sitaram. Are we sure? Yes, is that the case? Let's consider. Is the first statement correct? Yes, it's correct. Absolutely. Second one, the bill makes Malayalam compulsory language in all government. That's also correct. Then what is wrong with the third one, or is it correct? The bill abolishes, yes, very good, Ramu, very well noticed. All extreme words. If this was CSAT, then definitely none of them would be correct. Third one, the bill abolishes all special provisions for linguistic minorities and prohibits the use of minority language. But that is not happening. I don't think that is happening at all. I don't think so. Because the Kerala government has clearly said that we are giving special provisions to minorities. We are allowing that the minorities can use their own language when it comes to corresponding with the central government. They can correspond with the state government, they can correspond, and the bill also says the students will also get some special provisions. So, therefore, we can't presume that. It is not correct. It is not prohibiting the use of minority language, not at all. While Malayalam will become the more important language, at the same time, they are also saying that it is not like that. We have special provisions which will allow minority people to use their mother tongue for official correspondence. He said that very clearly. Okay? So that's why we can't say that D is right. They are not prohibiting. So therefore, B will be the right answer. 1 and 2 are correct. So very well done. Very well understood. Very well argued. Very well investigated. Good job. Yes. In extreme word, we have to be careful. Definitely they are a red alert. But point blank, we can't use it. You can use it if it was reading comprehension CSAT. But bacha, you can't use it here. Na? It's GS paper 1. Okay. Very well said. Very well said. So everybody well answered. Okay. Was it Terukula or Vikash or Pushpita? Everything is good. Well done. Okay, Priyamvada, not a problem. All I'm trying to say is that third statement is here saying that Kerala government is saying we will abolish all provisions for linguistic minorities because now we are making Malayalam as the official language. It will be used for government, correspondence, trade, commerce, but at the same time, because minorities are worried, especially in the northern Kasargod area, the government of Kerala has clarified that we are allowing special provisions under which minorities can use their own language when it comes to official correspondence with the government. So they are not prohibiting the use of this language. Okay, they are also considering Article 347, not just 346. Is that clear to everyone? Now let's quickly be ready with our travel bells. Let's go to Greenland and then let's go to Qatar. And let's quickly finish these articles. They are very interesting. So I need all the focus now. Please. Coming back to Greenland. President Trump today, once again, has reiterated, he has said once again that America will continue to target Greenland. It is nothing new. We have seen in the last few weeks, America began Operation Southern Spear against Venezuela, Colombia. Eventually, it became Operation Absolute Resolve. And President Trump, completely breaking down United Nations Article Charter 24, captured Venezuela, abducted President Maduro, gave a threat against Colombia as well as against Cuba, told Cuba that you are an illegitimate state and now nobody will do any trade with you, nobody will provide you oil. Venezuela gone, Cuba under major threat because already it's under US sanctions. And now with Venezuela gone, there is nobody to supply cheap, affordable oil to Cuba. So Cuba in the radar of President Trump, Venezuela already gone. Now there is a fresh threat that's being issued against Greenland. What is the controversy? Why America so badly wants Greenland? Very good critic, and that's great to know that you're talking from Ladakh right now. That's wonderful. Yesterday we spoke about the Shaksgam Valley, and today you are discussing the class from Ladakh. That's wonderful too. Very good. Great question, Kaizan. Let's come to that. So what is going on? So let's focus on the map of Greenland before we answer these questions. Great job. The map here is showing you the country, the area of Greenland. It is right here. I'm circling there, okay? Just look at how strategically it is located near the Arctic Ocean. You all know that Arctic is a great region which is hugely unexplored. It has great oil and gas reserves. It has minerals, it has fish reserves. It is the promising future for tomorrow for other countries like Russia, China, America, all of who want to target Arctic and take all these reserves from them. Plus, Arctic is a great area from where you can sit and keep a watch and do surveillance of all the missile programs of Russia. It's a very important area. Having said that, if you look at Greenland today, Greenland is an area that comes under administration of Denmark. Denmark itself is a NATO country. Okay, Denmark is one of the founding countries of NATO. And Denmark has the right over Greenland right now. So, as President Trump is threatening to acquire Greenland, it becomes a direct threat to Denmark. Denmark being a NATO country, it becomes a direct threat to NATO. NATO, under its charter, has another article known as Article 5, under which countries of the NATO will protect each other. It is the article on collective defense, mutual support. Attack against one nation is attack against all the nations. So therefore, if President Trump today, as he is now trying to undermine, he is now trying to walk away from UN, from NATO, if he creates this kind of a capturing of Greenland, it could definitely invoke a big security threat from NATO itself. But President Trump says Greenland is crucial for my national security. Why? Because according to President Trump, Greenland is an area from where President Trump can manage its strategic missiles, its own defense system. It can access the reserves of Arctic, and it can also keep a watch on all the missile programs of Russia. He says, if I don't capture Greenland, tomorrow countries like Russia and China will. So I must do that. What is the economic benefit in capturing Greenland? Because Greenland is not a sovereign country. It is a self-governing territory that comes under Denmark. It has tremendous amount of unutilized resources of rare earth material. REE. The world right now is hungry for REE. It has 36 million tons of rare earth material, it seems. In the world today, China dominates this area, and therefore it is very natural that America would want to capture this region to get a control over upstream extraction rights of all these rare earth material. What is the strategic importance of this area? Strategic importance is that it is located technically between North America and the Arctic. It will be a great base to develop early warning missile system. It can enable you to monitor all the ships, all the vessels that are passing in the Arctic area. I told you global warming is there. All the ice sheets are melting now. Arctic is becoming much more accessible. Sitting in Greenland, you can monitor all the commercial and military vessels that float in this region. Trump today says that NATO will only become more strong if America gets Greenland. Now, other countries are openly criticizing that. And that's the controversy all about. Now that you have seen the area of Greenland, please also have a look at the Thule Air Base. Very important. Very important. Now, Thule Air Base has a new name now. One of my students just spoke about it. You can also say that once again. Thule Air Base. Where is Thule Air Base? Strategically located in northwest Greenland. You can watch the location right here. I am marking it. Okay. This is the previous Thule Air Base. Today it has a new name. It is known as Pitufik Air Base. Pitufik Air Base. It's right here. Northwest Greenland. It is officially America's large military base in this area. Operated by America's Space Force. Very important because it hosts strategic ballistic missile early warning system. In case tomorrow Russia launches a missile, sitting in this air base, America will be able to already know everything about it. So therefore, America wants to capture Greenland. It is not just a matter of economic greed. It is definitely a matter of strategic and political benefit also. It is related. Very good, Dia. Well done. And absolutely, Vikash. Also because cold currents are common in this area, and any region of the ocean that's rich in cold and warm currents, especially where the cold and warm currents meet. It's the most fertile area for various kind of coral and fish to develop. Okay. Now looking at the question, with reference to recent statements by President of America regarding Greenland, consider these statements. Vikash answers. 1. Greenland is strategically important due to its location between North America and the Arctic, making it suitable for early missile warning system. Second, Greenland is a sovereign country and a founding member of NATO. And 3, Greenland has significant reserves of rare earth mineral, a sector currently dominated globally by China. Which of these statements are correct? Please read carefully. I'm waiting for more responses before I can take you to Qatar and end the class. Pushpita Vikash Terukula. Anybody else who wants to try? Priyamvada? All right. And anyone else? Ramu, Sitaram? Okay. Gopi, Sumed, Santosh. Fine, fair enough. Priyanshu? Very good, Vikash. Hari, well done. So let's break it down. First is valid. Absolutely valid. You just saw the strategic location. Second is correct. It cannot be correct. I'm sorry. Second cannot be correct. I just told you Greenland is not a sovereign country. It's a self-governing country. It's a self-governing territory that comes under Denmark. Kaizan was asking the same question. It comes under Denmark. Denmark is a founder of NATO, not Greenland. So therefore, second is not. If second is not correct, please eliminate B and D. Third, absolutely correct. Not just the fact that Vikash spoke about the cold Labrador current. Not just the fact that we spoke about the meeting of hot and cold currents, creating rich fish and coral reserve, but also you just saw it is rich in REM. You just saw it is an area from where you can keep on watching the missile operations of Russia. So therefore, third is valid, making C the right answer. Well done, brilliant as always. Now the next article in the newspaper was very short. If you look at this article says nothing at all. It just says America and Britain, UK and America have told various military personnel in Qatar military base to please leave that area, because right now it is an area that is under danger. Why is it under danger? GS paper 2 international relations. It's under danger because last year in 2025, it was Iran and Israel that were having a war. Israel attacked Iran in order to target Hamas. At the same time, Israel had also attacked the Hamas terror infrastructure in Qatar. It was not attacking the base of America. A lot of people were creating news like Israel has attacked American base. Later we realized it had not exactly attacked American base, but there was a danger because it was attacking Hamas. Similarly, Iran. Iran had attacked this area in the past. What had it attacked? Iran is a key enemy of America. So it had attacked a very important American military base in Qatar. That's all this article says. Finish, full stop. But this is not our responsibility. We have to do a proper post-mortem of this article. I want my students from today onwards to thoroughly understand where is Qatar located? Is Qatar a US ally or not? What was happening in Qatar in 2025? Where is the largest military base of America in Qatar? What is its name? And why is it controversial today? Let's come to the map and quickly clarify these issues so that you are always clear on Qatar. So please give me 2 minutes and focus thoroughly. On the map here, you see Qatar. Qatar, the small country here, very small, with its capital at Doha. If you look at the location, very strategic because it is bordering with other countries like UAE. UAE was in the news in the past. Why? Because UAE is busy fighting a proxy war in Yemen against Saudi and against Iran. UAE. Look at the strategic location of Yemen and Oman. We saw the Yemen war. This is Oman. Look at the big neighbor Saudi Arabia. Yes, a very, very well located, strategically located area in the Gulf named as Qatar. What is going on? Please understand, if you look at entire West Asia, the Gulf area is very unstable today. Very unstable. You have seen the war in Yemen. I told you Yemen is today practically being divided into two parts. One is the North Yemen controlled by Iran, Houthi, Shia rebels. One is the very good Terukula, Southern Transition Council in South Yemen, controlled by, supported by rebels from UAE. Because UAE is interested in all the strategic choke points here, the biggest one being Santosh, Bab al Mandeb Strait. Very good. Yemen is in war. Oman is slightly stable. It's a rich country. India recently signed an agreement with Oman. India has a strategic access to many ports in Oman, the biggest being the Duqm port. Now looking at Qatar. Among all this mess and controversy, there are clear-cut alliances. There is an always external interference in this area. There are countries like Russia who have continued to support countries like Syria, countries like Iran. Even in the West Asia, there is a clear cut group divide. There is one group that is strategically owned by America, Israel. America, Israel. Saudi. Saudi is also American ally. Qatar is also American ally. So you see this one group in a very, very broad way. America, Israel, Saudi, Qatar. Next, there is another very big ideological group. This is a group of countries like Iran, Russia, Turkey. They have their own kind of ideological unity that's going on. Naturally, America hates Iran. Saudi hates Iran too. Why? I have told you in the past. Because 1979 onwards, there was an Islamic revolution in Iran. Iran denied a monarchy that was highly westernized, the Muhammad Raza Pahlavi family. It became a theocracy. Iran has highest capacity for uranium enrichment. Iran controls Strait of Hormuz. Very good. Correct. Iran supports Houthi rebels. This is not to be tolerated by America. Plus, Iran is an enemy of Israel. Naturally, it's a communal controversy. Plus, Israel says Iran is giving shelter to my enemies, Hezbollah, Houthis, Hamas. Now, Saudi Arabia also hates Iran because Saudi is worried. Saudi knows Iran's military, Iran's nuclear capacity. Saudi is worried. So, Saudi, therefore, is always trying to find support in America. In this backdrop comes Qatar. What is Qatar doing? Qatar is a great ally of America. In fact, America itself said that Qatar is my biggest non-NATO ally in West Asia. For that reason, it is America that maintains its largest military base in Qatar, located near the capital Doha. And what is the name? Al Udeid Air Base. This article is not talking about it, but we should know. I will show you the map also. Al Udeid Air Base. Al Udeid Air Base. This is America's largest military base in Middle East, located in Doha, Qatar. It has about 10,000 American troops plus some more forces. Now, Qatar and America have close ties, strategic defense ties. As I said, America tells often that Qatar is my biggest non-NATO ally in the West Asia. The biggest. Okay. And now, America maintains this large air base, this large military base in Al Udeid. And Qatar supports that. Qatar supports that. You see, this is the situation right now. Therefore, for America, Qatari security is paramount. That is why last year in 25, when Iran had attacked a ballistic missile on the Al Udeid air base, the whole West Asia was burning that time. America was nervous. Israel was nervous. Israel is American ally. Israel is American ally. People were saying Israel has also attacked Al Udeid. No, Israel had not attacked Al Udeid. Why will it do that? Can Israel afford to make America unhappy? No. They are great friends, great allies. So therefore, Israel had attacked Qatar because Qatar had some Hamas bases, but it had not attacked Al Udeid. Al Udeid was targeted by Iran, a key enemy of America and Israel. That is why, because of the attack last year, today America, in fact, even Britain is worried that what if internal protest in Iran becomes too much? And what if actually America and Iran go for a war? In that case, the first thing Iran is going to do is to attack Al Udeid. That is America's largest base, right? For that, as a security purpose to protect its people, today America says evacuate the area. Please leave this area because now a big escalation can happen in this region. So that is a preventive measure that they are taking. Now on the map here, you can see Al Udeid. Okay, it's on the PDF. You can revise it also. It's right here. Right hand side map gives you a better picture of this air base. It is here very near the capital Doha. Okay, Al Udeid Air Base. On the left side, you can see a more broader picture. Look very practically the location of Qatar here. A very small country here. Very small next to Bahrain, Saudi, UAE. Look at Yemen, Oman. Yes? Saw all that? Now also see Iran, the country that is lodged with protest right now. We are, of course, worried about US plus Iran big time war. In that case, definitely America will be supported by Israel. 100%. Now, therefore, it is America's duty to protect this air base at Doha, Qatar. Because it is the largest non-NATO ally in this region. Yes? So, this is the Al Udeid Air Base, the largest military air base. Now, nobody should forget. PDF you will get in the Telegram group. Okay? Is that clear? Very good, Terukula. Well summarized, bache. Very good. Israel, Saudi, Qatar. Absolutely supported by America versus Iran. Does Iran have friends? Yes, 100%. Yesterday, when President Trump said nobody will do any kind of trade with Iran, otherwise, I will punish with 25% tariff. Support is coming from countries like Russia, Turkey. Turkey and Russia are supporters of Iran. It's a clear-cut ideological battle, okay? So, is that clear? That's it for the news. Now, unfortunately, from Iran also, as you're saying, the Bazari protest, landlords are protesting, shopkeepers are protesting. Yes, it is becoming very ugly. People are dying. Lot of people are dying. 2,571 people already died. The largest protest in Iran after Islamic Revolution of 1979. This man here, the lady here, she's holding also the images of Reza Pahlavi. She says, I want Reza Pahlavi back. Now, Reza Pahlavi could probably act like an agent of America. He's a very westernized man, supported by America. So Iran's leadership doesn't want that. And today Iran is saying, I may also execute people who are responsible for this protest. I will not spare them. Now that is why we are worried. What if America actually gets angry and tries to exercise more influence? After all, Iran has big oil reserves. And what does America want today? After America has seen that China is a rising economy, India, China will not listen to me. They will keep buying oil from Russia. America now understands that diplomacy is not working, threat is not working. China is soon going to compete with me. So what choice do I have? Capture oil reserve. So probably Iran could be the next target. That's it from my side today. Thank you so much for being in the class. Thank you so much for making it beautiful as always. Thank you, Priyanshu, for all your support and help. Let me also quickly write down for the new students. It is capital S. That's my name. Okay. Then, see, I only forgot. Let me check. What is the exact ID? Give me 1 second. Yes, it's right here. It's capital S. Then it's a capital P here. ND at UPSC. Okay. All right. So here I will share all the PDF. And as we are approaching the prelims exam, I'll keep sharing more material here. Shortcuts to do comprehension, essay writing techniques. Although Priyanshu also has uploaded all the material for us, and I think you can definitely take his help. He's been very supportive to us. Ramu and Terukula, Sitaram, Vikash, everybody has been really helpful in sharing the idea again and again. Still, if anybody has an issue, then we are there to help you. Thank you so much. God bless each one of you. Work really hard. And if you are studying for 2026 prelims, then bacha, please start. Please start with CSAT today. Today itself, if you are writing this year, if you are writing next year, you can still wait. Focus on GS and optionals. You start your CSAT November after November if it's 27. But if you're doing 26, then write from today without a fail. 6 comprehension passages and 10 maths problems you have to do every day in case you are planning to completely skip maths. Then at least be very thorough with data interpretation, comprehension, 6 each day. No excuse there. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much. Happy Sankranti. Happy Pongal. God bless you. Bye Terukula, Sumit, Ramu, Satya. Bye Dapti, Priyanshu, Kritik, Sitaram, and Hari, Rajnishwar. Bye Kav and Priyamvada, Dia, Priyanshu, my dear Kojumba, Terukula, Vikash, Santosh, Satya, Saurav, Diptesh was here after a long time. I was so happy. And Kritik, and Janvi, Urapam, Kaizen, okay? And the dear student who's joining from Ladakh, to you as well, because your name is not there. Rishi, and who else? Dia, Gopi, Priyamvada, Abhishek, Abhilash. All right. That's it from my side then, Santosh. And I always try to be as non political as I can be, okay? So let's also try to do the same thing. Terukula and Dia. I think that's it then. Anybody else also? So God bless you there. Okay then. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye Sitaram. Bye Ramu. Happy Sankranti. God bless you. Yes, they are doing that, Priyanshu. That's relevant.